in what just seems to be just a sliver, just a little bit of normalcy in this weird ass year, this weird ass off season, the Minnesota Vikings return to the field today as a full group for the first time this season as they prepare to hoist a Jerome Bardi in this really random 2020 season. So Ben Gessling, Star Tribune, wrote about it. I said this quote, even though NFL teams can get on the field Monday, they still won't be practicing, talk about practice, until August 12th. They'll spend the first segment of training camp in an 8-day conditioning period with a mandatory day off next Saturday to help replace a fraction of the training they lost with facilities closed and off-season programs canceled this spring. Players can spend 60 minutes in the weight room, do 60 minutes of on-field conditioning from Monday through August 11th. Teams can also have a 60-minute walkthrough during the first 4 days of the conditioning period and 75-minute walkthroughs during the last 4 days, end quote. And I always love how just very specific the NFLPA negotiates these on-field times. Because, like, all right, first 4 days, an hour, 60 minutes. The rest of it, 75. But don't you dare go 62 minutes. First 4 days, son. Take draft picks away from you, like the Ravens did a couple years ago. Man, whatever. But basically, what it's saying is that teams are putting a lot of emphasis on the wrong syllable of conditioning right now, which is really smart because, I mean, no OTAs. So this is the first time coaches as well as strength and conditioning coaches are getting their first view of these players. And, I mean, quarantine. You and I have been through quarantine, like, you know, and these professional athletes, yes, they do have all the resources available to them to stay in tip-top shape, the absolute apex, the absolute cutting edge of athletic performance, but, so guys will be coming in at varying levels of fitness for sure, as well as I think teams do want to test out their COVID preparedness. Vikings have already screened through and put 8 players on the COVID reserve list with 1 back in, rookie tackle Blake Brandel as of right now. Who knows, over the evening a couple guys may have been taken off the reserve list, which have been great as well, but also They get to test out what works, what they can do better with social distancing, what procedures need fine-tuning. This works, this doesn't work, do this, don't do that, as they'll have the full roster in the building, just like they will for the regular season. So I think it's important next couple of days, both for the Vikings, it's good that Sugarman is off of the head trainer / virus control officer reserve list. He's doing well. He's doing better, which is fantastic. So I think the Vikings are taking this extremely seriously. And as this progresses, I think that them taking this seriously and them really nipping this in the bud early on will pay dividends down the line, as some teams may not be as prepared as the Vikings. But also, like Ben said, true practice won't start until August 12th. Although all the walkthroughs going through these next couple days, it's going to be really important for the Vikings to install some things both on offense, defense, special teams. So generally, when you break down training camp, so you have practice, which is the thing that fans attend. You get the one-on-one drills, you get some 11-on-11s. Generally, after about 3 days, it's full pads. It's never like full-on contact, but there are some live reps in there, and it's the closest thing to football that you can get in a simulated environment. Now, walkthroughs, no helmets, no pads, nothing like that. It's generally just guys out there in shorts and baseball caps. Or Linval always wore like the big boonie hat, which is just awesome. I love that. But there's just walkthroughs, plays, different personnel groups, who needs to be where and when, and it's great. And frankly, just getting in those reps where these guys all off season, where they would have done walkthroughs or something akin to it at OTAs as well as mini camp. I mean, they've only been in their virtual playbook, looking at those iPads. It looks a lot different. Microsoft Surfaces. It looks a lot different on as opposed to actually getting on the field, getting some muscle memory work going, getting some chemistry going. I think it's really important with Kirk Cousins, especially that young receiving group. So the fact that it isn't practice, the fact that the Vikings will have 8 days of that on field, 60 minutes for the first 4 days, 75 minutes for the next 4. Is extremely important. Plus, I mean, since they don't have like true practice until August 12th, I mean, next Wednesday, since there is no preseason, teams can take their time. And as Ben alluded to in the article as well, I think teams are concerned that if you push too hard, too fast, especially with guys coming in maybe not in the best shape in the world, you are going to pop some hamstrings. You are going to strain some muscles, do this, do that. So I think it is smart for them to get a bit of a warm-up going before the pads get clacking. And also, I mean, yeah, they can take their time because the Vikings would have had their first preseason game next Friday, the August 14th, which means that they would have had the famous night practice this Saturday, which obviously isn't happening. But just to give a frame of reference where you're at in terms of this offseason, and the first game still 6 weeks away, September 13th, US Bank Stadium, Packers, Vikings. Let's go. Fingers crossed again. But also, it is nice that the Vikings, well, it isn't nice, but it is a beneficial byproduct with the number of players on the COVID reserve list that the Vikings are under the 80-man threshold, so they won't have to split the squad into different shifts during practice, which teams that, I mean, you're allowed to carry up to over 80 men on the roster through August 16th, but if you do that, you have to split up squads, try and keep social distancing as much as possible. But Vikings currently under the 80-man threshold, with Michael Pierce opting out, as well as 7 players still on the COVID reserve, currently 79 men on the roster. Yeah, but fingers crossed. Like we said, first time the entire roster, coaching, support staff will be in the building all at the same time. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully there'll be football this year. It's a big step. Mark on your calendars. First practice. We talk about practice, man. All right, what are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Is that you, Renona? You want to subscribe? Daily Vikings Takes, do that up. You want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. Plus give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skol, production value.